NDIS plans, which is best? We hear this a lot. 1 year? Should I go for a 1 year? Should I go for a 2 year? Should I go for a 3 year plan? And there's lots of discussion around this. And we're here to say, honestly, there are so many variations and each one has their benefits and each one has things that are not so good about it. Let me just give you some tips. If you're going for a 1 year plan, the things you need to be looking at or considering are, is your child young? And when they're young, they generally like to do a 1 year plan purely because the child's circumstances are growing and they're changing and their needs are changing rather quickly. So they like to keep it at a 1 year plan. Another way you're going to need a 1 year plan is if you have some really high cost AT quotes that have not come through yet. For example, if you need to get your car modified, you need house modifications, that type of thing, they won't give you a longer than 1 year plan because you need to be having a 1 year plan until you get those things done. Another time where 1 year plans are going to be non-negotiable, for want of a better word, is transition time. For example, if your child is coming into school, primary school, going out of primary school into high school, going out of high school into into no school, going into housing, going into a job. Those transition periods will always be 1 year plans. Now, the disadvantages that I'm sure most of you know about 1 year plans is you just kind of get over the stress and the angst of having to plan for one, and then it's time to start again. So it's just one never-ending cycle of being the hamster on the wheel of high stress, high anxiety, and also the other massive issue is not knowing from 1 year to the next whether or not you're going to have enough funds to be able to support yourself or your loved one in the way that they need to be supported or have been supported. The lack of continuity in the NDIS for people on the NDIS is horrendous. There's no other word for that. It's just horrendous. We should have a little bit of peace of mind and a safety net of where NDIS can't go lower, but that's a different story. Now, 2 and 3 year plans, same. I adore them. To me, the longer the plan for my girl, the better at this point because she's left school. She doesn't have anything at this point in time in her life that needs to be having a huge change. In, up to 5 years, we're planning on having her within 5 years in her own home. And when we're going into that transition stage, we will do a 1 year to do that intensive stuff before as she moves into her own home and as she gets extra support whilst in her own home. But at this point in time, we're just coming off a 2 year plan. And I can honestly say I love it. I love the fact that I actually have breathing space between the plans to be able to just be able to be. I know that's a novel idea, guys, but to be able to be is amazing. People keep saying, and I hear it, and it's a bizarre statement, and I've had it said to me also, I might add, by our planner, oh, but what if something changes? Well, guys, I'm here to tell you, something could change in 10 minutes. My God, I woke up with a stroke one day. I didn't plan that, but it happened, and I had to change masses of things. Life brings change. Now, if you get an unexpected change in a 1 year plan, a 2 year plan, or a 3 year plan, it's simple. You do a change of circumstance review. No different than if it was a 1 year plan. You do not have to plan everything out to the absolute angst for the next 3 years. If you find something happens and changes, you request a review. Now, I've also heard, but reviews with 2 and 3 year plans take longer. Rubbish. They're exactly the same. All it is you have a longer period of having money, not having to do a planning meeting and having more consistency a guarantee that for at least the next 2 or 3 years, you don't have to worry about whether you're going to lose your services. Now, as I've said again, it's not for everyone a 2 or 3 year plan, and not everyone will get a 2 or 3 year plan. But for those of you who have, for example, children who are in their second year of secondary school and everything's looking fine, nothing radical is going to happen in the next couple of years before they leave school, think about it. If your child has left school, or you, I'm not just talking about nominees here, I'm talking to people with disabilities as well. If you've left school, if you are in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, you just get on with your life, nothing's changing radically, go for the longest plan that you can. Now, I know this may change, and they are talking about having indefinite plans. Hooray to that. But at this point, they don't. So therefore, if you're wondering which plan you ought to go for, have a look at whether or not you fit into those 3 circumstances of transition, having a high expense IAT that is still waiting on and haven't got yet, or whether you've got little ease. And if you don't have those 3 things, there's no reason to not have a longer plan. And I'm damn sure it's going to save money at the NDIS because they're not having to have staff doing plans regularly. I hope that helps. I hope that clears things up, because I read some really weird things about why not to have 2 or 3 year plans, and I'm not sure where the info is coming from. So I hope I've now clarified that for you and given you some clear direction forward. Have a wonderful day. And for those in lockdown, enjoy it. What can we do? Thank you. Bye.